Dear parents, parishioners and people of goodwill, thanks for tuning in again. Although I personally could not be much happier with my lot in life over the years, I understand that there's not only great suffering present within certain countries such as Afghanistan, Syria, Libya, the Sudan, and indeed at this coronavirus time within Europe, and also even in America to a very great extent. But there is suffering also within many Australian families for various reasons. Some carry crosses I would not hope to carry, sometimes due to bad luck, but more likely through the actions of a particular member of the family or friendship group. Yet it should be a consolation for all those who suffer to know that Christ suffered himself as well. Christ's suffering was no play acting. If anything, his suffering was more intense than others, given the fact that he was such a caring and sensitive person. Jesus suffered the pain of being let down by his friends, as he stated to them on the original Holy Thursday night. You will abandon me this night. Consider the fear and anguish he suffered in the Garden of Gethsemane. It was so very intense that he asked his Father to remove it. Not my will, but your will be done. And he had no one with whom he could share his agony on that Holy Thursday night, as by the end, three of them on whom he trusted were fast asleep, even Peter. Subsequently, he endured blows to the face, insults, the pain of a crown of terrible thorns, even spit towards his face, and the heaviness of lifting a cross, too heavy for one man to bear. Whipping was only part of that final last 24 hours. We could plumb the depths of what Christ suffered, yet all this suffering would have been wasted and would not have redeemed even one small corner of this earth if he had not endured it with love. Even though surrounded by darkness, the lamp of his love was still burning brightly. He prayed for his executioners. He welcomed the good thief to paradise. He let the beloved young disciple John take care of his mother. This is your mother. He was the good shepherd dying because he cared for his sheep. Personally, as with so many of you on Good Friday, I found great strength and consolation for all the main sufferings of my own life due to the companionship of my dearest friend, Jesus Christ. For instance, 25 years ago, there was a cross I had to bear, as many of you have had to bear in somewhat similar circumstances. It came out of the blue, as crosses often do. On a very hot summer's night, I was rung from the milk bar near Mentone, which my mother frequented, to hear that my mother had incurred a bad stroke and the ambulance was on its way. By the time I quickly drove from my parish, located at Airport West at the time, to Sandringham Hospital, they were unloading my mother from the ambulance itself. And I will never forget the uncontrollable vomit coming from her mouth on the deepest parts of the human cavity. Although I'm usually able to control my emotions, in those next 24 hours I found myself in a place of fragility. Within those few days I had to comprehend that through the bad stroke she would not be able to walk again, never able to enjoy her meals as such, and was half paralysed as well. As her only caregiver still alive, those 6 weeks in hospital caused me intense emotional pain. Yet it ended in a great feeling of joy the night she died, a year later, because I knew now she was in a far better place. Unlike Christ, when friends deserted him, I had some wonderful friends who supported me over those initial weeks and eventual months. And my chief friend, Jesus, is the one who mainly supported me with wisdom and strength and his own peace that the world cannot know or give. Suffering that is merely endured does nothing for our souls except perhaps harden us. It only succeeds in turning us upon ourselves and making us sorry for ourselves. Whatever suffering we have to bear for family or friends, though, it is the spirit in which we bear our burden that matters. Two people can go through the same painful experience. You can destroy one and enrich the other. Suffering always gives us the opportunity to learn compassion. Our pain can bear fruit. Our suffering, properly borne, can become even a privilege, a call to the highest things. After all, it is not suffering that redeems the world, but love. Some people seem to have a morbid love of suffering, but they tend to be rather sad people. Rather, it is love that Christ wants from us. Yet love can cause the greatest pain of all, heartbreak. But love can be the greatest joy for all of us. Thank you, Jesus, for suffering for me, so that now I can experience real joy and hopefully be a lover like you. Over and out now, once again, from Father Greg online.